Hi, I'm Simon Rushton and this is Taxi Chronicles Podcast. On this podcast, we spontaneously interview unsuspecting passengers with their permission, allowing them to share their intimate life stories and concerns. As our slogan states, real riders, real stories. Some riders prefer to be anonymous, while others ask me to tell their story later on. Either way, there are all genuine 5 to 10 minutes stories, so sit back and enjoy this episode. Morning. Yes, we're back again with another episode. Today we have Oliver in the car.
Here, eh?
He's a chef. Nice to have you here today, Oliver.
Yeah, nice to be here.
That's good. We were having a discussion about his, not internship, He's been a chef and his experience of what he's learned. Now, just to give a recap so Oliver doesn't have to repeat himself totally. Oliver was pointing out about everybody's unpleasant. His exact words was when he went. No, say what did the boss say to you when you went into the
first thing I've ever been told was, "I'm a cunt. You're gonna be a cunt. All seniors are cunts. Get used to it.
And
you're going to enjoy it one day."
Yeah, and this was in the chefing business. So I asked Oliver why, and Oliver explained
that a lot of people get way too relaxed when you're too nice to them in the kitchen. You can have a joke and you can have the banter, but you got to remember there's a time to be really serious. So you can't always be a laid back person in the kitchen. You got to know when it's right, and you got to know when they're gonna bust your balls for something and when they're not. You've got to remember it's all about timings.
Now, some would say, Oliver, that you could actually have a happy environment and just have a good team where everybody knows what they need to do and will get it done and everybody pulls their weight.
Yeah.
You think that's possible?
I think it could be possible, but you got to remember that there's always going to be that one person, even if you do have a good team, he's going to drag that team slightly down. So you've got to have someone who you know is going to be a bit hard on them.
Yeah, so, you're always going to have the alpha.
Yeah, you're always going to have
the crew, but generally the alpha doesn't have to be malicious or horrible to everybody.
No, they don't have to be horrible to everybody. It's just when someone picks something up, you got to remember that whose head's going to be on the line at the end of the day. It's not really going to be yours if you're a junior. It's going to be the seniors' problem.
Okay. So the seniors just have a high. They must have a high turnover then.
Yeah.
So then that would indicate something's wrong then.
Yeah. Where I work, we've just lost.
Is this nothing to do with the COVID?
Nothing to go with COVID. This is just the workplace environment. We've lost 3 people in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, is that like on average? Is that typical?
Yeah, it's not typical. Before COVID, it was better, but at the moment, we're also after COVID as well. We're short of staffed, so.
Really?
Yeah, a lot.
There's loads of people out there who want jobs,
but they can't. The companies can't afford to pay them.
So they're short of staff, but they can't afford to pay them.
Yeah. So I was talking to my head chef. We dropped, end of COVID, 10 chefs, and we had 2 transfer from one of our sister restaurants who came in, and they were like, one of them's just left because he couldn't deal with it, because where he worked before was a bit relaxed. Where I work, but you got to remember also where I work, I do 300 to 400 covers a service, so I'm doing 8.
What's a cover? A meal?
One person, yeah. Per service,
300 to 400.
300 to 400
meals.
Between
layman's terms, yeah.
Yeah, between 300 to 400 people between 12 and 5, and then the same again between 6 and 10.
Okay. What is it, like a restaurant?
It's a restaurant. It's a fine dining restaurant.
Okay. Bloody hell. That's a lot of people you're serving.
There's a lot of people.
So how can a company not afford if you're? That's like a military. You're serving nothing less.
But it's because of the amount we spend on produce. You've got to think as well that the company lost so much money during COVID that.
Do you have to weigh your waste and all of those kind of things?
They have now, but there's barely any wastage in the kitchen. We're almost zero wastage now.
Right, so every little bit counts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's.
Going back to what we were speaking about earlier, I'll give you an example. Being an ex-military person myself,
Yeah.
the army have a mentality. Excuse me. Army have a mentality that you need to bollock people, always be on them. The Marines have a different attitude. If I have to shout at you, or if I have to motivate you, you shouldn't be here, because you should come here motivated. And I really like the Marines' mentality on that, because it means the majority of people on a good day do what they're meant to do. Yeah. Obviously, you always get people they're going through personal issues, etc., etc. So they may not be doing what they should be doing. But that's how I compute a good working environment. That everybody comes there motivated. They all like their job and stuff like that. And I've worked on a dust carts where you've got a crew and they're happy to do their job. Everybody really, a team really pulls together, and they can get 8 hours work done in 2 or 3 hours, and then they all go home happy. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. But no, in a kitchen, you have got the people who are motivated and want to do things. You've got the people who don't want to do it. But I think even with the people who are motivated, after you've done a certain amount of hours in a week, you just begin to lose it.
I suppose there's also the added fact that you are always unsociable hours, so your missus wants to go out to dinner or do something.
You want to see friends, you can't see them because you don't finish. You start if you're on a dinner shift, you start at 3 and you won't finish till 2 o'clock in the morning, and then you'll normally be back in for another shift at 6, so you don't have time to see anyone.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So you said you've been in this chefing business for, was it?
Coming on 6 years. 6
years. Are you loving it the same way you loved it at the start?
Oh yeah, I absolutely love it. I would not change it for anything.
Okay. What would you, if to younger you, to you 6 years ago, what would you say to the you 6 years ago that is vital that you wish you had known when you started that you've learnt now?
Timings. Make sure everything you do, you can do within a certain time limit, and you're always being cleaner, because every time it's just getting the job done. But you should I never ever used to be able to keep it within the time limit I'd set myself. You've got to just work on your timings.
So you're talking about your own personal times. Are they more stringent than what the boss is asking you?
Yeah, but sometimes it's more that I'll have about 7 or 8 jobs and I'll have 2 hours to do them in, and I've got to set a certain amount of time to do.
How many different meals do you have to prepare in one sitting?
It's all done. So we have everything ready, but everything's cooked as the check comes in.
Okay, the check meaning that piece of paper?
The piece of paper we get that tells us what you've ordered.
So it's like pre-cooked and you finish it?
No, not pre-cooked, everything's cooked, fresh.
Okay.
It's fine dining, full-on fine dining restaurant.
So that means it's like takes half an hour to get from that chick to come in?
No, that's the other thing about where I work, is that a lot of places you order your starters, you normally wait about 10-15 minutes. You're waiting maximum 7 to 8 minutes max
for the main,
for the starter. As soon your table's been cleared for mains. The most amount of time depending on what you've ordered. Like if you've ordered a rib medium or well done, and you've eaten a salad for your starter, and you 2 minutes after you've got that salad they mains it, so that means they say that okay, they're ready for their starter. You're going to be waiting a good 15 minutes because it's got to cook, it's got to rest, it's got to be made sure it's done. But that's only one thing. Everything else takes max 8 minutes.
Oh, so this is where you talk about timing.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
It's like you're real precisionist.
Yeah, it has to all be within an 8 minute turnaround. And even while you're doing that one table, you'll have 6 other tables you'll be working at the same time. So it won't be, oh yeah, you've got tables 69 and 52. You'll have table 69, 52, bar 1, bar 14, and 3 tables that have starters on them.
So there's an average ratio from tables to chef. So if a chef should have between, let's say, 6 to 10 tables.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
We have, so it works out that there are 2 people on sauce. Mm-hmm. On veg section, you have 3 people, but you only have on the service, so sending food. On veg, you only have 2. You have one person working your ovens, and one person working. And one person working your pots. Yep. And on sauce, you have one person working your grill, and one person working your garnish. That person on the back of veg will be doing all the mise en place, so all of your stuff for the night and day, but he or she will also be killing lobsters, getting langoustine, doing top up for all the sections.
Okay. Sounds like that's why I see why the team is so important though, because if someone calls in sick or running late, you're like,
you're in the shit.
This can't work.
No.
You just better you just don't come in. We'll cover you, and then tomorrow you find another job.
It depends. If you've actually got a valid reason, if you just don't bother turning up, they'll fire you on the spot. But,
so it's a real hire and fire business.
But if you actually call it, so say this morning I've been sick and I've been throwing up, and I called at say 6:30. I know they have enough people in the kitchen today to cover me. They have 2 sous chefs on, so one of them can help with mise en place. They've got 2 people who can do service, so it's not like they're properly in the shit.
Okay.
But you pick like a Monday where it's only ever 2 people for dinner, and you're on a dinner shift, and you call in, but you don't call in the morning because you get up a bit late. You call in at about 1 o'clock saying you're going to be ill. They're in the shit. There's no way they're going to get someone in half an hour's notice.
So when you get someone in, you just call up an agency?
No, it'll be one of the actual people on rota.
Oh, okay.
We don't do any agency shifts. It's just our little kitchen team.
I understand. Well, last question. So I know you've been up all night and you're very tired. What's the impact you want to have on the world?
I just want to keep going, and I just enjoy what I'm doing. As long as I'm good, delivering great food, I'm happy.
That's good. So serve the world with your de la croix. Okay, well, good having you.
Thank you for having me.
We hoped you liked that episode. Keeping in mind, we never know who we're going to interview. We post twice a day, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. GMT. Have you ever considered the future economies to invest in? why not listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories? Considering Africa has the fastest growing economies and population on Earth, and has done for many years, it holds 30% of the world's known natural resources. We publish twice a week, Tuesday with a guest investor and Fridays talking about investment, politics and history, providing a clear understanding for any potential investor.